Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is a pre-market webinar for the morning of Monday, the 25th of November. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. Right, okay, ES has been up overnight, and we're getting pretty close to a retest of the prior high on NQ. Still looks like flag, but I think probably isn't. Because of what the other ones are doing, but we will see. We do have a tiny bit of negative divergence on NQ, not worth a mention. Don't have any negative divergence at the moment on ES. On RTY is pretty close to a retest of the prior high. No negative divergence at the moment. No, we haven't. Hasn't reached the overnight high yet. And YM, we had a tiny bit and we're losing it at the moment, and we've already retested the high there. What's really interesting, though, is the Europeans, which spent most of last week being very uninteresting. But we've got a couple of nice-looking double bottoms here. They're really nice, actually. This is a double bottom on DAX, which is broken up with basically a target at a retest here in 19,800, and we've got another one on ESTX which hasn't actually broken up yet, but if it does break up, we'd have a target, I think, at about the 5,000 area. These could fuel a strong week. It's Thanksgiving week. We've got traditionally pretty strong numbers here. Obviously, Thursday is a holiday, but we could do some damage to the upside this week. See, retest the highs, and so far, I mean, I did say we've got this long bullish window throughout November and first 4 weeks of December, and we've obviously wasted a fair amount of that, not doing a great deal. But I think actually we might be getting started to the upside. And if we do get started to the upside, I do have some targets on the upside. So let's go and have a look at those. All right, looking at SPX. SPX, I drew in this a while back. And this is the main chart for SPX going from the low in 2020. And I've got a trend line that I've been watching here. And I've got it, I reckon, at about 6,000, 62,250 here. And obviously, we've actually wasted quite a lot of the bullish window already, but I'm still thinking this is the obvious target if we're going to do it. And if we do make this target, then I'm thinking we might top out and start another longish flag, which could take much of a year. You can see on this one here, we formed a flag which lasted a year. I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen again, but I would like to see a topping pattern. And we got one here. This has been a nice setup here, and this really is the obvious target. We will see if we can make it, but no particular reason to think that we couldn't, except for the fact that the market's been sort of fairly carefully not going up. And actually, this was exactly what I was talking about in September and October. We had a very good bearish window, and we spent it going, for the most part, sideways. We've been going so far in this bullish window fairly sideways as well, but we may be about to change that. We will see. All right. No prospects really of a daily sell signal here. Nothing on the hourly so far. We would need to go higher. So we will see whether I can manage that. Looking at the Qs, obvious trendline resistance here, which might be reached up in the 521 area. Not the strongest, though, because if you look at this on the 15-minute chart, we didn't quite reach this support here. But we did reach the obvious levels. We reached the breakaway gaps. We backtested those. None of those broke. We tested the daily middle band. None of those broke either. This wasn't a great low, and it kind of looked like a flag coming off the low. But I think this is likely taking us back up into the retest of the highs, and then we'll see what further the market can deliver. All right, Dire, back at the retest of the highs already. Don't really have any strong resistance here that I'm watching. We will see. We did have one here, but it overthrew. But I'm going to have to redraw it, I think. I might redraw it from there. But we will see. To a certain extent, we're guessing. We need to wait until the next high, and we'll see where it lands. All right, looking at IWM. Going back up into the retest of the high at the moment, I think possible RSI 14 sell signal brewing. Might lose that at the open in the morning, but I think Could we do a double top here? Yeah, potentially. I don't really have a strong trend line for this to go to either. We will see. I may well have one by the time this lands on a high, but it wouldn't surprise me to see this go significantly higher. On DAX, we got the double bottom, and we also saw a break over the daily middle band on Friday. Now, that was after basically all the week last week holding the daily middle band pretty exactly as resistance. So that is promising. That could reject back down today, but normally if that rejected, it would be today. But this could be setting up for a retest of this high here. Looking at Nikkei, we've not seen a lot of strength here yet, but we might, and we've still got a potential head and shoulders here. Although, to be honest, in another few days, it'll be too unbalanced on the right shoulder. I'd quite like to see this go back and retest this high here at 42.4. We'll see whether it's got the juice to do that. All right, let's have a look at DX. DX pulling back a bit, and I've actually got a really promising pattern on Euro. I've got this lovely little double bottom inverted head and shoulders here, which is broken up with a target in the 106.7 area, and I think I'm not seeing anything obvious to suggest that won't make target. Looking at ZB, might be starting a bit of a rally here, but this has been very weak and not really moving the last few days. CL's pretty much made the double bottom target now over the monthly pivot, which is obviously only the monthly pivot now for this week. Waiting to see how that develops. Bigger picture, I've still got a target at 63.57. NG has been pretty wild. Saw this wild move up, and then we saw this wild move down, and made the minimum target on the double top here, and then we've gone back up, and we're pretty close to a retest of the high. We'll see how this develops, but we've seen the last roll, which is into NG January. For the next 3 months, it's going to lose, or at least we've got a headwind, which is basically it's only about it's about 50 cents. Which is actually, I say only, that's actually not a small amount, except for the fact that when you consider the last 6 months going up, it's been a headwind which has taken it up over $1. So actually, if you deducted that, we would be at like 240, 250, which would be an awful lot less dramatic. So this is likely to drift down 50 cents, depending on what happens. But what I would say is, on the bigger picture, we've reached a potential inverted head and shoulder neckline. We could decline into that April low area, making a right shoulder, ideally getting down into about the 2 area. And then we'd have a really nice looking inverted head and shoulders that could then take us up to 5.8. So I'll be watching that pretty carefully. Looking at GC, seen a bit of a pullback here. 60-minute sell signal fixed and made target. SI, gold has been the standout here. We haven't seen an awful lot of upside action on silver or platinum or palladium or indeed copper. So watching that carefully, but if this can sustain it, obviously it'd be leaning towards seeing a retest this high here at 2800. SI, less certain. HG, this looks like it wants a retest of this low here in the 4.06 area and may well get it. We'll see how that goes. KC at the moment is going up. The sell signal failed, and at the moment there's no reason to think it's going to stop going up at the moment. SB, very long bullish consolidation, 2 months now and counting. And it's still on it. CC has gone higher. 60-minute sell signal is fixed. This one could fail too if this keeps going up. I think on the futures, I think I recall this getting up to about 14,000. We could be looking. We're not going to be looking at a double top there because actually we came down a long way from that. But there's certainly potentially space to the upside if it wants to go higher. ZW possibly breaking up over this declining resistance here. I rolled ZW and corn into the March contracts. Corn looks like bull flag forming. Soy is very close to the retest of the low I was talking about, and it's a pretty nice looking falling wedge. I'm thinking we might still go a little lower, set up a bottoming pattern, but I think this is the area I was thinking we might see grains make a stand. CT, nice little rally here. 6-minute sell signal might actually deliver something now. It hasn't delivered anything so far. Lumber kind of looks like a bull flag forming. Live cattle looks like it wants a retest of this high here in the 190.4 area. Possible weak 6-minute sell signal brewing. And lean hogs looks like it's getting back up to this high just over 86.875. Okay, let's have a look at questions, of which we have none. Okay, we've got a bullish week this week. We've got a holiday on Thursday. We are heading back up into the retest of the highs, it looks like, and there's no reason to doubt that would be the case. If we're switching onto the bullish tape that would be normal for the next 3 weeks, then we could actually see some damage to the upside, and that's what I would like to see. In terms of the bigger picture, I'm thinking if we do head up into that 6,200 area, then that could be we could set up a high area which could last a year or so. That could make it very interesting next year. And next year will be an interesting year. We've got a government which is consciously and deliberately revolutionary coming in. They're planning to burn up a lot of regulations, and they're planning to shake a lot of trees, and actually that might not be a bad thing at all. But it's not likely to be that great for the stock market. And so I'm thinking, in terms of what we were looking at in, hang on, bear with me a moment. In terms of what we were looking at on the weekly chart here, when we were looking at, hang on, right, move up from 2020. End of 2021, we started basically a long flag consolidation, which lasted a year. I'm thinking we might do the same again here. So if we do get up to this resistance here, I'll be wondering seriously whether that's going to be happening. And I think it might well. We shall see. All right, great. In that case, I think that's a wrap, guys. I will catch you tomorrow. And looks like it's going to be an interesting day. Watching those DAX and the STX, if those double bottoms both play out to target, this could give the markets a real boost, which would be good because so far the bullish tape in November hasn't really delivered a great deal. It would be nice to see it delivering something. All right, catch you guys later.